In the heart of the bustling city, amidst towering skyscrapers and luxurious mansions, stood a magnificent mansion owned by Evelyn, a 45-year-old woman of striking beauty, and her husband Jonathan, a successful businessman. Jonathan's demanding career often required him to be away from home for long periods of time, which created a growing void in their marriage. Evelyn began to dine alone at the large dinner table, and her conversations with Jonathan were reduced to short and impersonal phone messages. This constant absence made her feel more like a keeper of the household than a partner in their relationship, deepening her sense of isolation. Despite their wealth and luxurious lifestyle, Evelyn often felt an emptiness in her life. She longed for deeper meaning than extravagant social events and material goods, yearning for true companionship and emotional connection, something neither her busy husband nor her high society acquaintances could provide. Evelyn's days were filled with activities ranging from shopping in expensive boutiques to attending social events. She was accompanied on these trips by her faithful driver Samuel, a man of calm character and unwavering loyalty. Samuel had been in the family for many years, and his presence had become a constant in Evelyn's life. She still remembered the day he had gone out of his way to retrieve her lost bracelet, searching every corner of the crowded establishment without the slightest hesitation. Evelyn felt relieved and grateful when he handed her the bracelet, his face calm and reassuring. This simple act of kindness stayed with her for a lifetime, a moment that warmed her heart and made her feel truly noticed, something she hadn't experienced in a very long time. This selfless act cemented his status as more than just an employee. It showed Evelyn the depth of his devotion and care. He was more than just a driver. He was a trusted friend and a source of comfort in her often lonely world. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Evelyn grew to love Samuel more and more. His kindness, patience, and the way he seemed to always understand her needs without saying a word touched her deeply. She began to look forward to their time together, finding comfort in his company. Whether it was a simple trip to the market or a longer outing to a social event, every moment with Samuel seemed special to her. One evening, as they were returning from a charity event, the lights of the city twinkled in the distance. Evelyn couldn't help but feel warmth in her heart. Soft jazz music played in the car, the hum of the engine and Samuel's soothing presence beside her creating a moment of pure calm. She stared at him, his profile illuminated by the streetlights, and felt a flutter in her chest. It was in that moment that she realized her feelings for him had gone beyond friendship. The days became a series of furtive glances and shared smiles. Evelyn sought Samuel's company more and more often. Her heart pounded every time he was near. She knew it was wrong, that she was crossing a line, but she couldn't deny the feelings rooted in her heart. Samuel seemed to sense the change in their relationship, too. His eyes lingered on her a little longer, and his touch was a little softer. One sunny afternoon, as they sat in the park watching the ducks in the pond, Evelyn couldn't hold back any longer. She reached out, found his hand, and felt electricity surge through her. Samuel looked at her, his eyes full of surprise and longing. In that moment, they both realized that their relationship had changed. They had crossed a line beyond which there was no turning back. Their love story unfolded in quiet moments, like when Samuel brought Evelyn her favorite coffee after a tiring charity event and sat with her in comfortable silence, watching the city lights through the car window, or the morning when their fingers accidentally touched while arranging flowers for an event, causing a rush of warmth for both of them. Those stolen glances and whispered words created a bond no one could ignore. It was a love born out of loneliness and deep understanding, a love that was as beautiful as it was forbidden. Evelyn often wondered how something so pleasant could be so wrong, while Samuel wrestled with his own conscience, torn between his feelings and his sense of duty. These reflections deepened their bond, even as they recognized its impossible nature. They knew the risks and possible consequences, but they could not deny the feelings that had taken possession of their hearts. As the seasons changed and the leaves turned golden, Evelyn and Samuel found solace in each other's company. Their love story was a secret, a hidden treasure they kept with all their hearts. As their relationship deepened, Evelyn and Samuel became increasingly cautious, knowing the possible consequences if their secret was revealed. They treasured the stolen moments, finding solace in each other's company amidst the chaos of their lives. Evelyn's loneliness began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of fulfillment and joy she had not felt in a long time. But the weight of their secret began to weigh on them both. Evelyn struggled with guilt over her husband's betrayal, despite the emotional distance that had grown between them. She remembered the nights when Jonathan would come home late, too exhausted to notice her attempts to mend their relationship, or the mornings when he was focused solely on his phone, answering emails, instead of having a quiet breakfast together. These moments, small but persistent, emphasized the growing chasm between them, making Evelyn long for the closeness they once shared. Samuel, too, struggled with the moral dilemma of his actions, torn between loyalty to Jonathan and love for Evelyn. One evening, as Evelyn and Samuel sat in the car after a long day, the tension between them was palpable. Evelyn looked at Samuel, her eyes filled with a mixture of love and despair. "We can't go on like this," she whispered, her voice trembling. "It's not fair to Jonathan, and it's not fair to us." Samuel nodded, his expression turning serious. "I know," he replied softly, "but I can't imagine my life without you, Evelyn. You've become everything to me." Evelyn reached out and gently touched his cheek. "And you mean the world to me, Samuel, but we have to think about the consequences. We have to make a choice." For a minute they sat in silence, the weight of their decision hanging in the air. Finally Evelyn spoke, her voice firm and determined. "We have to put an end to this, Samuel. This is the right decision." Samuel looked at her, his eyes full of pain and understanding. "You're right," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "But it won't be easy." Over the next few weeks, Evelyn and Samuel began to drift apart, their communication becoming more formal and less frequent. It was a painful process, but they both realized it was necessary. Evelyn had dived headlong into charity and community work, trying to fill the void left by Samuel's absence. Samuel focused on his responsibilities, enduring the loss of shared moments with quiet resignation. One day, as Evelyn was preparing for a charity event, she received a phone call from Jonathan. Her heart raced with surprise and fear when she answered, and his voice was warm and unexpectedly gentle. "Evelyn," he began, "I'm coming home early and I'd like us to have dinner together tonight, just the two of us." For a moment, Evelyn was confused. The thought of Jonathan making time for her after such a long break filled her with a fragile hope and a wave of emotion she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. She agreed, and her voice was steady despite the sudden nerves and excitement that had erupted in her. He was coming home earlier than expected and wanted to take her out to dinner. Evelyn was surprised but pleased, hoping it was a chance to meet her husband again. That evening, sitting in a quiet upscale restaurant, Evelyn and Jonathan talked like they hadn't talked in years. Jonathan apologized for his absence and promised to spend more time with her. Evelyn, in turn, shared her feelings of loneliness and her desire for a stronger connection. It was a sincere conversation, a step toward repairing their strained relationship. Days turned to weeks, and Evelyn and Jonathan began to rebuild their marriage. They spent more time together, going on dates, sharing their thoughts and feelings. Evelyn found new purpose and happiness in her life, her heart slowly healing from the pain caused by her secret love. Meanwhile, Samuel continued to serve his family with unwavering devotion. His love for Evelyn was a cherished memory he kept in his heart. He found comfort in the fact that Evelyn was happy and her life was filled with the love and companionship she deserved. Evelyn and Samuel's story was a bittersweet reminder of the complexity of human feelings. This love taught them the value of self-sacrifice and doing what is right, even if it hurts. Their journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that love can take many forms and that true friendship can stand the test of time.